Now, welcome to another lightning review cap of The Bad Batch Season 1. Today it's going to be Episode 3, where we're going to just quickly kind of recap it, discuss some thoughts and feelings on the episode, just to prepare for Season 2, which is a little over a month away. So let us jump right into it.
We start out with our Bad Batch crew and their ship sailing through hyperspace because they just got done with that firefight in Saluka. And, it's going to crash. Tech decided that they were fine, their life support systems were fine, didn't really care to inform them that some of the other systems weren't so fine.
Tech, the genius who sometimes misses the obvious. That's kind of his...
That's his thing.
Yep.
It's
his characterization,
shtick.
Yep.
Well, so they're kind of crash landing to a planet, and this is the first time Wrecker gets hit in the head.
Yep.
Hit in the head by some debris, and
they are talking about the chips, or moments after.
Yes, because
no coincidence there at all.
Tech is building a device to test how their inhibitor chips function.
Yes.
And now the whole episode he kind of rubs his head and he's grunting and he's out of commission for the episode.
My head hurts.
We find out that they miss Crosshair, but they also blame the chip for everything he's done. Alright, then we also find out back on Kamino, Admiral Rampart has shown up and he wants to train recruits, conscriptions, under Crosshair. Because he wants less clones, more recruits. He thinks recruits can be just as loyal as clones, so...
More loyal because they're loyal of their own choice, I guess
right.
Is his kind of philosophy here.
Back to the other storyline. Tech and Echo go out to fix the ship and find out that there's critters afoot. And it steals the part they desperately needed and only had one of. And it runs off with it.
Another Mynock-like creature that likes to chew on power cables or steal power parts.
They called it some sort of a dragon.
Yes.
That feeds on power. And Omega and Hunter...
Raw energy, I believe, is what they said.
Yeah, sure. And Omega and Hunter go off to find it together. Back with Crosshair's group, they decided to send the recruits to Onderon after Saw's group to test their loyalty, to see if they can kill when the clones would not. Crosshair is in charge, and one of the recruits is very resentful of him being charged because he's like, well, we're replacing you. Why are you in charge? You guys are the old guard. Look at us. We're cool. Empire pays us. He seems to really dig the Empire. His life must have been not so great before. He's like, I get fed, I get housed. This is great. Yep.
Didn't get that under the Republic.
Did not. Then back to the Clone Force 99. Hunter finds the creature, and it gets the best of him, and he's rendered unconscious. Thank goodness he brought Omega with, because she put his gas mask, oxygen mask thing back on his face, but he is unconscious. So she grabs his gun, and she decides she can track, too. Because she's very enhanced.
She saw him do it, so she can do it, too. Can I learn to do that in like 5 minutes?
She crawls down into the hole to head off after it. Back to Team Crosshair. The group, after a brief firefight, the group that they went to deal with... Eliminate. Surrenders after most of them were killed. They find out Saw, he's not there anymore. He already left. So, haha. One of the recruits, the one who stood up to him before, calling him the old guard and all that, says he won't kill the innocents. They surrendered. Let's take them back for questioning. And so Crosshair shoots him.
Yep.
And he says, you know what? Good soldiers follow orders. This was the job we were given. You're not doing the job, and he kills him. And he makes the recruits finish off the other hostages. Mind you, these are civilians.
Yeah, these are not combatants.
No.
These are like women.
They were people who were just getting a ride off the planet.
They're just getting a ride.
Team Hunter... Omega manages to distract the dragon after she finds it, using her cunning and wit. She throws it her flashlight, so it gets distracted with the flashlight. She grabs the part and starts crawling back up out of the tunnel. Hooray! She has done what Hunter could not.
Ooh.
Alright, now we see the Kaminoans having another secret conversation. That they're kind of upset. They don't want the clones to not be useful. They want to make...
That's their number one customer,
a super
right?
clone, an enhanced clone. Yep. But are worried because they are getting low on Django Fett material.
Django juice.
Django juice. So in order to make a super clone, they need material. They made it sound like they could use any of the
Yeah. And
Clone
Crosshair
Force
is
99.
Right there.
So I don't know why. Yeah, well, I don't know why they're not getting material from Crosshair.
Yep. I was very confused by that as well.
Right.
Unless they mean Omega, but didn't
Want to say it was just
correctly.
Omega.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were like, yeah, we need them to come back, and they're like staring at their like empty lunch table.
Yeah. Yes, they were like reminiscing and.
Ah.
But no, I think they imply it's. They kind of word it really weird and imply it could be any of them because they say one of them.
Mm-hmm. We just need
Omega.
one of them.
Yeah, and unless something is really weird and there's many, but I mean, I'm not saying that I think that's the case,
Unless
but
they're referring to Boba.
I was just gonna say I guess they could be referring to Boba.
But I don't think he's brought up at all.
No, that is a good point. They could just be referring to Boba and Omega. Yeah.
Because they want, of course, remain useful to the Empire.
Mm-hmm. They want them dollars or credits.
And then back on the ship, because they have managed to take off. Somehow the creature must not have drained the power cell or whatever they needed.
No.
Even though it had it for a long time and immediately drained the flashlight. But that's neither here nor there, apparently. We find out Wrecker made Omega a bunk on the ship.
Her own little room. She
Her
never
own
had her
little
own room
room.
before. Who was she sharing a room with? I'm curious.
Maybe the robot.
Well, does that count?
Maybe she was under such strict surveillance she shared her room with her Kaminoan overlord.
That's possible.
They could have shared a room.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
Maybe she was just thrown into the bunk with the young clones
I highly
sometime.
doubt that.
I don't think so.
She's a special clone.
is.
I'm surprised she didn't get her own room.
She should have had her own room. Maybe
more
she didn't
dramatic.
consider it her own room and it was just a part of the lab that she slept in.
Could be something like that where it's kind of designed for her as a person, not as an experiment.
Right. Like, here, this is where you'll be sleeping. It's kind of a tucked away corner of this lab, whereas this is your own room and we made a little door flat for you.
Yeah, because we care.
Because we care.
All right, the end. Mm-hmm. So, really, really brief thoughts on this one.
Filler. Well, they didn't. Oh, no.
And that's
Sorry,
it.
the part that was filler is the whole part with pretty much Omega and Clone Force 99. The stuff
Yes,
that
the other
happened
stuff
with
was-
Crosshair's group was actually the main
Very relevant,
story
yeah.
pieces. This was just a rando mission.
Yeah, and there's a nice
That
little scene
could
at the
have
end where
fit in
Crosshair
anywhere.
is sitting in his bunk, and you can kind of tell he looks at Wrecker's carvings on the wall of and he's just kind of sitting there. It's a very strange episode because as you kind of point out, the stuff with Omega and Clone Force 99, what Bad Batch, whatever you want to call them, very filler, very kind of normal, generic story.
A story that could have happened any day of the week or
Yeah,
Could have been paired with anything.
It's a basic story, and yet the stuff with Crosshair is very
Important.
violent,
That's
and
the-
it's important too. It's so contrasting, these two storylines, because you got civilians being just slaughtered, and he's killing his own men, and he's doing all these things, and it's very like, wow, this is brutal, and then it's like, I'm Omega.
Omega.
Yeah, it's just a weird contrast. I mean, overall, a decent episode, but another one of those
Half
episodes.
of it was filler and half of it was
exactly.
informational.
Unfortunately, the stuff with Crosshair is far more exciting than the stuff with the Bad Batch and
Absolutely.
Omega. All right, well, that is all we got for you this time, so take to the comments below, tell us what you thought of this episode, and let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.